Alrighty, guys, we are back. It's your boy Freeze700, and we are back with some Legacy of Kain lore. This time, what is the role of the Balance Guardians? Now, what's interesting with the Balance Guardians is that they have a little bit of everybody's powers, and this is what makes the Balance Guardians so powerful, is that they have everything at their disposal. They can cast energy magic, like the Jewel as the Energy Guardian. They can change people's states of matter, just like the state's pillar. So in other words, the Balance Guardian could electrocute you to death. Or they could decide to get a little creative and turn you into a pile of just liquid. It's up to them, really, how they want to kill you. Cast a little bit of time magic, cast a little bit of anything magic. Now, what makes the Pillar of Balance so interesting is that it's the only pillar that doesn't really pertain to the world itself. And this is where I am going to kind of go on a bit of a tangent here. So, when it comes to the Pillar of Balance, it is not referring to the pillar of the world. In other words, the other guardians are aspects of the world itself. There's the Nature Guardian, there's Energy Guardian, there's a Statesman Guardian, there's Dimensions, there's all sorts of stuff. And they maintain the stability. After all, if something bad was to happen to the Dimension Guardian, then demons could invade from their realm, the demon realm. Things could spill over. If the, let's say, Death Guardian, something bad happens to him, then there's going to be issues with people who die. They may not be able to find their way nicely across the underworld. They may not be able to get the punishment or atonement they were seeking in death. This can present issues, and this is where we see everything come into place. But the Balance Guardian doesn't really monitor anything else. And this is where I would say something unique has happened to change it. So when it comes to the Balance Guardian's purpose, it's actually about the other guardians. Can they make sure that the other guardians are doing their job effectively? Are they making sure the balance of things is staying stable? If not, then why? So in other words, if nature is no longer running its course, there is something wrong with the Nature Guardian. Like if there is no fertile season after winter, or better yet, if deer are not repopulating, something is wrong with the Nature Guardian. Then the Balance Guardian will sort it out and figure out what is wrong. Maybe the Balance Guardian can help out, or may have to replace the Nature Guardian. This is where the Balance Guardian could be viewed as not exactly the most liked out of all the Guardians, considering that their job is to be judge, jury, and executioner of the other Guardians. It could get really bad and really messy really quickly, trying to maintain relationships with the other Guardians when they know you are the gun to their head. They can't go around experimenting with whatever they want because you're the one who's going to stop them. It could get a little messy. Now, we may see that as their purpose, that it is the Balance Guardian's job to ensure things run smoothly. But yet, in the games, we see that Ariel is very distracted. She's so hyper-fixated on states of the world. She's so busy looking at balance of the world. Keeps talking about how the Nemesis is making things out of balance with him destroying the world. And then how things in the world are out of balance because King Otmar is not behaving as a king. I actually want to address that. I want to say that Ariel, while she's not at fault for this, I do think what's going on here is that she is not fulfilling her role as a Balance Guardian. She is more or less subverted by the new role of the Balance Guardian. So there's two roles. There's the old role, the role that they're supposed to have, the purpose that they are supposed to attain, which is making sure the other Guardians are not corrupt and making sure they are behaving appropriately in their position. But the new purpose is a human purpose. This is a purpose that the humans have ordained on the Balance Guardian. Because after all, we cannot forget that in history, vampires were the original controllers of the pillars. But once humanity took over, and now no more vampires rule, humanity forgot what the purpose of the pillars really was. This is where the Balance Guardian, Ariel, has been misled to where she thinks she's supposed to maintain balance in all aspects of the world, not just the pillars. Because to humans, the pillars represent the state of the world. So, if things in the world are bad, the pillars will reflect that. The vampires know that's not the case. It's actually the opposite. Whatever happens to the pillars will affect the world. The world cannot affect the pillars unless it does something to the guardians. This is where Ariel gets everything screwed up, and this is where everything turns so horribly wrong. You see, when we're playing Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen, you're following Ariel's guidance, and if you notice something, every time you follow her guidance, things get worse. Like, she wants you to focus on the Nemesis, focus on King Otmar, and if you focus on those and help those out, you actually end up in a bigger hole than you were previously. So it ends up where you're being manipulated by other forces, you're wasting time, and you're putting yourself in a much, much more dangerous situation had you just ignored her and just continued with your quest of killing the Guardians. This is the point. Ariel is bad at her job because she's taking up a job she was not supposed to take. The Balance Guardian is supposed to maintain balance within the circle, not outside it. If the world is out of balance, like a Mongolian ruler comes in and wipes out all human settlements, oh well, that's fine. The world is still intact. Humanity still exists, just that now they're all slaves or rummaging through ruins. This is something, though, that Ariel would not abide by. Ariel would say, oh, this is out of balance, blah, we got to help stop these Mongolian invaders. It's like, no, Ariel, that's not your job. That is not your purpose as the Balance Guardian. That's a human purpose, but that's not the purpose of the Balance Guardian. Besides that, this has been For Your 700. I hope you guys enjoyed this thought. It's a very interesting idea. The purpose, the role of the Balance Guardian. They're capable of some very strong things, very powerful things. Like Kain himself has many of the gifts of a Balance Guardian. He's able to change his state into a form of mist and shift to dodge things. He's able to turn people into puddles of blood. He's able to shoot out lightning out of his fingertips. He's able to do a lot of crazy stuff. He's able to manipulate a time machine and figure out how to work it, which is extraordinary. But again, that's not really their job. Their job isn't supposed to be, rule over the circle. No, it's supposed to be a policeman. You're not supposed to rule over it. You're just supposed to make sure everyone does their job. And you're not supposed to determine what's unnatural in the world. The world will sort itself out. As long as the world is alive, that is. And that's really the main Balance Guardian role, is to make sure the world stays living. Besides that, this has been For Your 700. Please comment down below what you guys think. I always find this a very interesting topic, because Legacy of Kain is more about interpretations. It's more about how you read the manuals and how you interpret the story and how you perceive the characters when they tell you something. Of course, there's unreliable narrators. That's always a thing. But it's very unique indeed when you have someone who's very frantically hyperfixated on something, and you realize that every time you do what they ask you to do, things become worse and not for the better. And then you realize, if you take a step back and you go, I see why. That person shouldn't have been focusing on that thing to begin with. Besides that, comment down below what you guys would like to see next, and see you guys next time.